When I ask what the best tool for learning is, what comes to mind first? A book, a professor, an article, a thesis? The truth is, there are many different tools for education that are used on a daily basis both inside and outside of educational institutions, and they all educate in different ways. However, one of the most powerful tools out there is rarely used to educate in a classroom setting and is often overlooked as a form of education by people who use it in their personal lives every day. This tool can nearly always be found online for free, sometimes requires no reading, and is something that I've used to teach myself about various aspects of life. Music is a powerful tool that transcends cultures, and by looking just a little deeper into the meaning behind songs, you can learn so much more than what is just on the surface. Now, a fair question would be, what gives you the credibility to talk about this? And the answer to that question comes alongside the fact that I've been a community editor for Genius for a handful of years now. Genius is an American digital media company that allows users to provide annotations and interpretations of song lyrics, news stories, sources, poetry, and all kinds of other documents. The website gets millions of visitors every day, and annotations I've created on the website have been upvoted by thousands of people across the world and put on lyric pages with literally millions of views. Diving this deep into music has taught me a lot, and examples on the power of that learning is what I'm here to tell you about. For a simple example, when you think about a stereotypical rapper, the image that comes to mind might be a black male from a low-income neighborhood who talks about doing drugs and partaking in illegal activities to try to help get ahead in life. And for a big chunk of rap music, that assumption really isn't too far from the truth. However, when you dig deeper into the themes within this music and ask why the musician chooses to rap about these subjects, you see that it's just them being a product of their environment and that decades of inequity throughout history are what put them in the position to do these things. Moreover, by looking deeper into lyrics, you can see that different people from different races all across the country have more similarities than you may see on the surface. Take a look at these two musicians, for example. One is a white country singer from the hills of eastern Kentucky. The other is a black rapper from a low-income neighborhood in South Florida. They don't seem to be similar people, but a look at their music proves they're more similar than you think. Both of them come from low-income neighborhoods where they feel trapped and have decided that they will do whatever it takes to get ahead, even if it means putting their own lives in danger and partaking in illegal activities. Moreover, the stress and struggle from growing up like this has worked as a catalyst to make them turn to drugs to help relieve these stresses. Even furthermore, both artists add themes of faith and religion into their music, seemingly as a way to ask for forgiveness for the lives they've lived and to help explain their actions. These musicians, and many more across different genres, put their true thoughts and emotions into their music. Being able to see into their mind by listening to the music is an amazing tool in helping understand things such as mental health. Take Amy Winehouse, Chester Bennington, Juice WRLD, Lil Peep, and Mac Miller, for example. Different artists of varying ethnicities and varying genres of music. So, what do they all have in common? Well, sadly, all of them died young from either intentional suicide or an overdose from abusing drugs. Moreover, all of them hinted at their mental health and substance abuse issues in their music prior to their death. Amy Winehouse famously sung about refusing rehab. Chester Bennington often spoke about his mental struggles. Juice WRLD was open about his anxiety and drug abuse. Nearly all of Lil Peep's catalog of music was about depression and drug abuse. And Mac Miller explained his mental health state to us just a few short months before he overdosed. As an ongoing issue in America, being able to see that millionaire celebrities who are loved by thousands, and sometimes millions, struggle with mental health just as an everyday man or woman does, can be eye-opening. On top of teaching people about culture and mental health, music can also be a great tool to help educate people on actual school subjects such as history and language. And I know this because I've used it to help educate myself on these subjects. One primary example among thousands is the album Drogas Wave by rapper Lupe Fiasco. The album is basically a fictional storybook about slavery that is told through rap, and it mixes in various nonfiction lessons on the slave trade along the way. One song from the album in particular has a verse that is a very amazing, concise history lesson. On the song in question, there is a verse in which Lupe Fiasco simply raps the names of all major known slave ships, and annotations have been created on the aforementioned Genius song page that give detailed histories on the slave ships he mentions. Being able to listen, sing along, and interact with history like this is an enhancement to the normal learning environment, and there's a plethora of examples beyond this one that are all readily available online. These opportunities for learning aren't just limited to rap music either. Take the Swedish metal band Sabaton, for example, whose entire discography of music is almost all influenced by real historical events. The album, The Art of War, was inspired by the influential book by Sun Tzu under the same name. They stated that their decision to base the album upon Sun Tzu's book came from the idea that in the 2,000 years since the book was written, the human race has achieved many things, but apart from weapon advancements, operational art, strategy, and war itself have remained basically the same. Moreover, their album, Coat of Arms, contains a majority of songs that give details of World War II. They have many more projects that float around similar topics, and reading into them is another example among many for an opportunity to learn through music. An additional opportunity to learn through music outside of the realm of cultural diversity and history is learning through language. It's pretty well known that slang used in popular music is often interpolated into the English language in everyday conversation. However, taking this a step further, there are some artists that are literally helping shape our understanding of language through their music. One of the more polarizing artists who's doing this is the rapper Young Thug. Thug is a controversial artist to say the least, with many general music fans relaying the fact that they simply can't understand what he's saying. However, many well-educated people think it's much more complex than that. The words of David Flynn, who is the associate professor and chair of linguistics at the University of Calgary, can explain it better than I.
Delivery is really natural. It's informal speech. It's the way you speak at home with close friends. So Young Thug is warping his lyrics into all these different kinds of paths and ways, and he's able to make the listener feel those emotions. And also everyone can hear something different. Exploring the fact that you can recycle a word or phrase with multiple meanings in different contexts, and also recycling a phrase with slightly different intonations that each have an emotion. And it's really enjoyable.
Elaborating further on this, Flynn states outside of an interview that, quote, rap is the largest repository ever of natural black speech, and that the closer rappers deliver their lines to the way they would speak around peers, the more it gives you a window into the true English vernacular. This idea is mirrored in Young Thug's music-making process. Thug has been known to enter the production studio not with written lyrics, but with drawn symbols, almost like an ink blot test. According to Charlie Locke of Wired.com, quote, Young Thug isn't making music you have to unravel in terms of lyrical meaning. His whole thing is, how do I feel, and how am I connected to the verse? He's just trying to generate feeling, and that feeling is the meaning.